Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn.
Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Again, I am joined by head women's coach Kyle Cooper as we do the basketball edition of our weekly podcast. Coach, you're going to have to fill me in a little bit. I was traveling pretty much the entire week at the NCAA convention, and unfortunately I couldn't watch the games while I'm on the plane.
Sure.
So let's start with what I missed. When I landed for a connecting flight, I immediately pulled up on our phone. We're playing Frostburg at home, and we were down 5 in the third quarter. So kind of go over what I missed in the first half and then explain what happened after that point.
Yeah, so, we kind of knew, knowing Coach Eckelberry for a long time and knowing her style and approach to coaching, that they were going to be prepared, they're going to play hard, and it's going to be scout heavy. And it was a grind. It was a grind. We're down a couple of possessions, like you said, in the third. First half was kind of back and forth. We were getting some good looks, not hitting them. And like I said, it was just one of those games where it's kind of grinded out. But then we were very fortunate to start getting into a flow. Shots started falling. I thought it was led by our defense and our rebounding, because we all know playing in transition is much easier for us, and it's a part of our brand of basketball. And that game was probably closer than the scoreboard showed, but we finished it on a really, really high note, shot the ball unbelievably in the fourth quarter, and made a serious run at the end to get a big win, and a win that we much needed.
Well, I was talking, we had a Mountain East Conference dinner the next night, and I ran into Frostburg's president and athletic director, who I know fairly well, and I said, wow, you gave us a heck of a game. And they didn't know the details. They just saw the final score.
Right.
They're like, what are you talking about? It was a 20-point game. And I'm like, trust me, it was a lot closer.
It was a lot closer.
Than that. So what changed from that moment midway through the third quarter? You're down 5. You talked about you got in the flow. You hit shots. Get a little bit more specific.
Yeah, I thought it was just we cranked up the attention to detail enough that when we were getting stops and taking care of the basketball, the game started to go up and down. Prior to that, it was kind of a messy game. A lot of travels called on both teams, a lot of fouls called at times. It made it choppy, and a choppy game is not a favorable game when we want to get up and down. It was amazing, though, when that stuff got cleaned up and we took care of the basketball down the stretch, how much the pace cranked, and then we were allowed to get in a flow on both sides. And when we're playing that way, we're very tough to guard, and we're pretty good on the defensive end.
Well, you can definitely hit shots in bunches.
For sure.
For sure. We talk about the Concord game, 7 threes in the fourth quarter. The Glenville game, the huge comeback.
For sure.
I don't know, 10 threes in the second half,
Yep.
maybe. And that appeared to be the recipe again.
Yeah.
That once the snowball started falling,
for sure,
picked up some steam.
For sure, and with with Ari making the jump that she's made as a consistent threat, it's forcing teams to make some choices. We're able to pound the ball in a little bit and get her some touches, especially if teams are gonna, put single coverage on her, and we got shooters all around, and vice versa. If they want to double, then she's become a better passer, and we move the ball well enough that now we're getting step-in threes, which is what we want.
So you get a nice conference win at home on Wednesday. You travel to arch rival Fairmont on Saturday. And boy, it couldn't have worked out any worse for me. If there's a day that I want to be in attendance,
right,
it's for Fairmont, because on both the men and women's side, that's been a historic rivalry going back well over a decade. So kind of the same thing. I'm on a plane, and I have a connecting flight. So when I land, I believe we were either up 2 or down 2 right in the beginning of the third quarter.
Yep.
So tell us what happened from that point on.
Yeah, and in this game, it wasn't so much that it was as choppy, I guess. There was flow for both teams, and we like playing Fairmont. Like you mentioned, it's a rival for us, and we like the way they're playing right now because it's pace-based. They're getting up and down more than maybe they have because, when you lose a player like Sierra Kochman, who's going to dominate the ball a little bit volume-wise, it opens things up for other people. So they're playing faster, so we knew it was going to be up and down. It was just one of those things where neither team was overly efficient in the first half, so it's flying up and down basketball, it's fun basketball, but when shots aren't going in, people aren't as excited about the outcomes. I thought what changed was we continued to force tough twos and stay disciplined at the rim. You're talking about the team that shoots the most free throws in the country, and also makes the most free throws in the country. So you really have to lock in and be disciplined about protecting that rim without bailing them out, because they've got some serious talent. I thought we were really good defensively in rebounding, and the collective rebounding and rebounding down by our guards. Ari puts up a double-double. Carly flirted with a triple-double in Frostburg. We're starting to get collective effort on the glass, which is making us really good in transition, and we opened it up because of it.
Well, it's funny, and I'm going to bring out a quote from a longtime friend of mine, benefactor, actually helped coach here, Mark Crow, and he used to say, well, just don't foul. But it's not quite that easy, meaning you still have to try to guard them to keep them from scoring.
Right.
We all can just not foul and let them shoot.
Right.
So there is that fine line.
For
you
sure.
come in, you scout, this is a team that's lived off of the free throw line. How do you effectively guard it without fouling? Now, fortunately, I got a little lucky because I got to watch the bulk pretty much the entire third quarter, and then when my plane was taking off, we were up 13 early in the fourth.
Yep.
So you were able to ride that out?
We did, and they made a couple runs back at us, and then we answered. And one of the things that I think we've done with this group is, as we continue to see consistency and so on, we really do trust them to continue to play fast, maybe in longer stretches. I think there's a lot of coaches that would start to try to control the game down the stretch if you've got a several possession lead. We're letting them stay in the flow, and it's been good to us, so we're going to continue to do that within reason, of course. But yeah, we weathered a couple runs that they made down the stretch, kept it at double digits. And I'll tell you, the most incredible part, besides riding the emotion of that big win and carrying that forward for us in conference play, is 25 assists on 27 made shots. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, as sharing the basketball, the unselfishness, the poise we played with. It was incredible to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So then you had a non-conference, a rare non-conference game in the second semester. I believe that you elected to just go from Fairmont straight to Bluefield. Is that?
Yeah, we were trying to minimize the wear and tear of the travel, because obviously it's not traditional. You played 2 games last week, carry in, and now we're going to play 3 this week. So you've got to do some structural things. So, we elected to make sure that we give our players the best opportunity we could. So we headed down, got a practice in at Bluefield the day before, which worked out. Didn't get an opportunity to have a shoot around that morning because it was real early, offered to us. But tremendous challenge, because you're coming off that emotion. As a coach, you would kind of label it a potential trap game. Now you don't talk with your team that way, and unfortunately for us, it did turn into that a little bit.
Right. Well, the result's not what you wanted on the short end of what was it, 80 to 60?
82-60, I think is what it was.
82-60, but after doing some research, this isn't maybe the game that the public would think. Bluefield's been pretty darn competitive.
No doubt.
And I was looking at some of their scores.
Yep.
Played well with Glenville, played well with State.
Yep.
They had a talented team. Any thoughts on the Bluefield State game?
Yeah, and I would give their coach credit. I think he's doing a really nice job. I think they're starting to invest more in the basketballs down there, which obviously if you're invested in, things can turn. So he's got a roster that's got talent and athleticism. We knew going in, and what we spoke a lot about was they had a lot of balanced scoring. They had a lot of kids that, can go try to get you a bucket. And we needed to lock down defensively, and we were not good in that. They shot 57+%, almost 58%, which is obviously not ideal. And then on top of that, we were able to not get in as much flow, and we did not shoot the basketball well. But that's one of those things that I think we can learn a lot from that loss. We had some good conversations. We're moving forward as of now, Tuesday, to get ready for AB. And as much as it's a stub of a toe and you hate to lose, at least it was not in conference. But hats off to them, because they did a nice job.
So we get back into conference play. We host Alderson Broadus on Wednesday, a team that had a shocking win last week.
Yeah, they go and at home get Charleston, which is obviously a huge win for their program, and they're dangerous. They're dangerous. They're a little short roster size-wise, and that can affect them at times. But they have a team that plays hard. They're athletic, and they've got talent. So a tremendous challenge for us tomorrow night. We got to show up and we got to play, and it's got to be early. They cannot feel success early on the road. That's for sure.
Right. When people ask me about how did AB beat Charleston, I said, well, it begins when you have one player as talented as the Williams kid is,
For sure.
all it takes is one night where she's really getting it going, and
Yep.
and it's amazing how you can play with people. So, and then we conclude the week visiting another arch rival, Wheeling University.
Yep.
That game is down at Wheeling, 2:00 start. Tell us what you know about that game.
They're playing really well. They're playing really well. And our league right now is good. I mean, you've got 6 teams in the mix right now, all separated by a game or two, which is showing just how far our league has come in the last 5, 6, 7 years and how good it is. But Wheeling's doing well. New coaching staff, and she's got them playing hard, playing a little bit more free. And in turn, they're responding. And she plays a lot of players, and they play a little faster. Defensively, they're very good.
Well, that'll be a good one. Well, that wraps up this first segment of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back with head men's basketball coach Ben Hallett.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Kyle Cooper. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I'm now joined by head men's basketball coach Ben Hallett. Coach, same opening that I gave with Coach Cooper. I was traveling to the NCAA convention, so it's 2 of the rare basketball games I ever miss. So I did get to see bits and pieces. I'm taking connecting flights. So I did get to see some of the Frostburg game. So take me back. What did I miss?
Not much. First half got off to a substantial lead. Thought we played well offensively in that game in the first half. And then what happened is what typically happens when we get a substantial lead. We take our foot off the gas and we start playing not for the team. We start playing for ourselves. And from a defensive standpoint, really bad and inexcusable. Just guys not having any pride and getting scored on every way possible. And I think there was a point in time in the second half of that game where they were shooting 80% from the floor. And this wasn't just the first 5 minutes. This was 10 to 15 minutes into the half, and just really disappointed. And obviously I know we're going to talk about the Fairmont game, but I thought there was carryover from the second half of the Frostburg game into the Fairmont game, and we just got to get better. We got to get better, and we've had a couple good days of practice, so hopefully we play better tomorrow.
Yeah, I was on a Southwest flight, which I have internet, so I did get to watch the bulk of that game until we landed. I told my wife, fortunately on the offensive end, we were raining threes. Yeah. So we shot the ball, and the old adage that I've said for years, shooting cures a lot of ills. So it's human nature. You're draining threes. You end up scoring 129 points in a game, and maybe it's hard to get players to buy in, like, hey, we're not doing it on the other end. Is that kind of the case?
Right. It's fool's gold. And from an offensive standpoint, you look at the score, and we did score a lot of points, the most we've scored all season. But we also gave up over 100 points in a game to a team that only averages in the 70s. So, again, it wasn't the fact that we couldn't do it. I just don't think guys really wanted to do it. And that's what's frustrating as a coach, is you put so much time into, this team and building our defensive schemes, and it just wasn't there for whatever reason. And it's a reflection of me. I got to get better, and my assistant coaches got to get better, but also our players got to get better at it.
Yep, absolutely. It's usually a team outcome regardless. So you get the win there, as you said, scored a season high, but gave up triple digits there. So you go to Fairmont in a game that we all kind of circle every year on the schedule, a nationally competitive team a team that competes for championships every year, who had kind of had their own bumps in the road a little bit this season.
Yeah, and you know, I told our guys before the game, and it was almost like an elimination game for Fairmont as far as the league. And obviously a lot of stuff can happen, but this, if we were to beat them, it would have been 4 losses in the league. And, you know, from a regional standpoint, it would have really hurt them as well. So I give, and this is the way I kind of, you know, told the team yesterday. I characterized it in the 3 different areas. Number one, I got out-coached in the game, and I'm fine admitting that, and I admitted it to the team. I didn't have our guys ready, and it was very evident the first 3 plays of the game where we had 3 turnovers and uncharacteristic turnovers for us. So I can fully admit that. I got no problem admitting it, and I'll get better. We got outplayed as far as we got out-executed, and we didn't run our set plays well. And from a defensive standpoint, it was the same thing as the Frostburg game. We had no pride in that game. And probably the most disappointing part of that game is we got out-hustled. And we got less than 20% of the loose balls in that game. And when we didn't get the loose balls and they obtained possession, you know what happened on those? They scored on every single one of those. And you throw in, they shot unbelievably well, and they were up for that game, and it's a perfect storm. And we got our butts kicked. There's just no other way to describe it. Like, I have no excuses for it. It's on me. I'll get it corrected, and we'll see some changes here on Wednesday.
Well, one of the reasons that you have been so ultra successful is because you are mature enough and knowledgeable enough to know when things aren't going the way that you want them to. And it's admirable that you're going to sit there and take the blame, which is what a good coach should do, is take the blame. But just like the win, the result on Wednesday, and everything else is a team outcome, it's a team outcome in the game. But I also like how you're identifying that you're going back, watching a film, you're tracking the 50-50 balls, the loose balls. You know you only got 20%. And that is so damaging because this whole system is predicated on forcing those situations, out-hustling the opposition, and using it to your advantage. Is that
100%,
fair to say?
100%. And here's what I'm seeing, especially in that game, is we're letting, you know, missed shots affect our defensive effort on the other end of the floor, and that can't happen. Like, and it's not just one guy; it's multiple guys. And you know, for us, we've got to provide the same amount of energy and effort on the defensive floor, no matter if we're making shots or missing shots. And here's something else that we got to get better at. We haven't been, you know, down a lot this season. And when we get down, especially in the second half, we panic. We start to panic, and we start trying to do a little bit too much as far as individuals, and they're just not used to being down. And that's a basketball game, right? That's normal basketball when you're down in the second half. And again, that's just something else that we can get better at. And you know, the good part about losing, if there's anything good about losing at all, is it allows you to really work on things that probably don't stick out when you're winning. And you know, we've worked on some things the last, you know, 2 days have been really good for us. We're going to have another good day today, and I can tell you what, I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys play on Wednesday, because I think there's going to be some serious effort on Wednesday.
Well, and obviously you have to have the effort. And it's a blessing and curse to this system, which generates a lot of turnovers and pace. And, I mean, we can go back all the way to the 2005 season, where West Liberty's always going to be top 5 in the country in points differential. Yeah. Meaning you're blowing people out. Well, there's a blessing and curse to that.
Yeah.
The curse is you don't play a lot of tight games, and then when a tight game happens, how are you going to respond to that?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, for us, and we've kind of always done it this way, when we're in the grind of a season and we just play, you know, Saturday, Wednesday, after you play a game, you kind of just, all right, on the next one. Let's start looking, you know, at our next opponent. But when we lose, we really look more in the detail about things and look more in depth about, you know, why did we lose. And so again, I'm hoping it'll pay some dividends for us. You know, we were really able to put the microscope down on some things and again, hopefully get better in a lot of different areas in our system.
One of the great things about having a program at the level that that your program is every game has significant meaning.
Yeah.
Meaning you're always playing for something. Right now, still playing for a conference championship, still playing for the number 1 seed in the MEC tournament, still playing for a regional, either potential hosting or making the regional tournament, earning an at-large bid. So there isn't any time to pout. There isn't any time to just go, oh, ho-hum, we lost.
Yeah.
Because every game means something.
Yeah.
But that's the way we want it, right?
Yeah. And we I don't even know if this is the right thing to do, but I'm so obsessed with, the statistical things that you just mentioned as far as, in conference and tournament seedings and a regional. Like, I talk about that with our players. I want them to kind of know exactly where we stand and how important each and every game is. So that's definitely on our mind. And I look at those numbers every single day. And I think it's important that our players know those as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't like to reference when I was coaching because that was a million years ago. But I was the same way. I said, we start every season with one goal and one goal only. And that's we're going to win at the highest level.
Yeah.
And we're going to compete for championships and NCAA tournament bids. And I think your players do need to know the outcomes. And it's outcome-based,
right,
obviously. And that's what I love about our line of work is we keep score. Yeah. We have scoreboards that indicates normally if you're doing a good or a bad job.
Right.
So you're pretty confident the players understand where they're at?
Yeah, I mean, they better know now. Like, again, like, it wasn't a feel sorry session. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves. The good thing is we get to play tomorrow. Like that's what this team needs is we just need to play. Like, we can practice and do all these breakdown drills, and we did all that. But we just need to play against somebody else where it actually matters, and we're going to get to do that tomorrow.
And we've got an AB team that you just don't know what you're going to get because I'm a nerd like you, so I'm looking at every other game. Mm-hmm. So when I'm on that plane that landed, the very first thing I do, and I'm pulling up live stats on the West Virginia State AB game, and if I'm not mistaken, AB missed 2 threes in the last 30 seconds that could have tied that game.
Yeah, and questionable calls there at the end of the game, and lost by 3 to a nationally ranked team. And they've got freshman of the year back, Jalen Knott, who did not play against us in the first semester, and he gives them a completely different look when he's on the team and playing. So, again, AB doesn't feel sorry for us. They don't care that we lost. They're going to come here to beat us tomorrow.
Okay, so we got home Wednesday versus AB, then travel to rivalry game, Wheeling. Not that you've looked much into them. Just tell us a little bit what you know or expect at the Wheeling game.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game, right? So I'm going to give you the cliche, anything can happen in a rivalry game. And obviously record-wise, they're not where they want to be, but anytime you play Wheeling, whether it's home or away, you're going to get their best shot, and it's going to be a big game with a great atmosphere.
Well, I don't know if you're aware, but I was able to attend San Antonio Spurs Golden State Warriors game. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan. Largest game and largest attended game in NBA history. Wow. And it was quite an experience. So I didn't have a chance to tell Steph hello.
Okay, next time.
Okay, next time. Well, that wraps up this edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics, joined by head coach Ben Hallett. Wishing you the best. Let's get a couple wins this week.
Thank you, Coach.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Ben Hallett. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
What are you working for? Do you want to pursue your athletic potential while earning a degree that will benefit you for a lifetime? Do you want to play at the highest level in your sport? Do you want to be a champion? That's what the 12 proud members of the Mountain East Conference are advancing toward every day, providing opportunities and pursuing excellence. The Mountain East Conference.
For more than 185 years, West Liberty University has been a leader in higher education within the state and the region. We've adapted through the decades of innovation and instruction, shaping the leaders and innovators of tomorrow. With a significant focus on practicum and hands-on learning, our students understand how to apply their knowledge and skills to continue to make West Virginia shine. We are the leaders of tomorrow. We are West Liberty University.
Do you have a passion for working with animals? Check out the Zoo Science and Applied Conservation program at West Liberty University. Why West Liberty? You'll get hands-on experience with animals starting in your first semester. We have 6 on-campus dedicated lab spaces with over 300 different animals, plus a partnership with the Oglebay Good Zoo, an AZA-accredited institution with over 50 species of different animals, including rare and endangered species. You'll have the opportunity to work with a variety of reptiles, amphibians, and mammals under the direction of experienced faculty and even opportunities to participate in animal rehabilitation projects in places like Costa Rica. This program is ideal for anyone who wants to be a zookeeper, zoo researcher, conservation scientist, or work with an applied conservation government agency. Plus, we offer a graduate program in zoo science, so you can complete your graduate degree right here at West Liberty University as well. Our unique program has everything you need to find the career you've always dreamed of. Visit westliberty.edu/zoosci to find out more.
Hey, my name is PJ Mazik. I'm a second-year dental hygiene student, and today I'm going to show you what it's like to be in the program. First, we're going to head into oral pathology class.
We're going to talk about neoplasia. When you hear the word neoplasia, what comes to mind?
Coming into your first 2 years at West Liberty, you're going to take your general education courses and the required classes needed to apply for the program after your second year. During your sophomore year, if you plan on being in the program, your junior year, you have to apply by a deadline around January a year in advance. You can only be accepted for the dental hygiene program if you meet the course requirements and have at least a 3.0 cumulative GPA. It is a very competitive program to get accepted into, and once you're accepted, your hard work doesn't stop. You jump right into your first semester of dental hygiene classes, including tooth morphology, periodontology, radiography, head and neck anatomy, clinic lecture, and clinic lab. Now we're heading into clinic lectures.
If you're not flossing your patients well and not making that exaggerated C shape, you are going to have loads of plaque that is still left interproximally.
The courses contain a lot of information very fast. The courses are designed to meet state board requirements that you need to get your dental hygiene license when you graduate. At first, it will seem like you're learning a foreign language. Everything is going to be different. You're not going to be used to the terms used. You will adapt and everything will start piecing itself together. As a student, you can expect to spend a lot of time outside of class studying information for your next exam or practicing your instrumentation for your next process evaluation. Now I'm going to head into clinic lab. We actually have a full-size dental hygiene clinic here on campus for West Liberty staff and students, and it's open to the community. For a low cost, people can come during the school year and receive a comprehensive dental health care service. The clinic is a learning experience for the students, so it's going to take a little bit longer than your private practice. West Liberty Dental Hygiene Clinic offers cleanings and x-rays for adults and children. Also, we will place sealants if prescribed by a dentist. X-rays taken in the clinic can be sent to your dentist or reviewed by the dentist we have in our clinic. Now heading into wrestling practice. My years here have been nothing but the best. I chose West Liberty because it's far enough away from home but not too far, and it's affordable for a 4-year education. I wanted to wrestle in college, and West Liberty Wrestling is knocking on the doors nationwide. On the academic part of things, West Liberty Dental Hygiene program is well respected nationally as well. Being a student athlete can put a lot of weight on your shoulders. Expectations are high from your teammates, coaches, professors, and peers. Although being able to manage your time well plays a huge part in being able to handle both well. I'm a student athlete and student goes first, and my coaches are very understanding of that. Thanks for checking out the dental hygiene program. For more information, check out our website.